Hey there, welcome to the channel. I'm Ben, and today we're going to take an in-depth look at the R002 fat tire e-bike from TST. Huge thanks to them for sending this bike out to me to test, but that is where the pleasantries end because I do not review bikes to sell them to you. I review them to see just how good they are. So we're going to take this bike out on the road to see how it performs there. Then we'll hit a little bit of gravel to see how it handles some slightly more difficult terrain. And finally, we'll take the bike on my favorite section of two-track trails to see how the bike handles off-road.
Oh, you're mad about something. Well, I need service.
Then at the end of the ride, we'll see how much range we get out of the battery and go over how the test ride went. But of course, before we can do that, we've got to get the bike unboxed and assembled, and TST does suggest taking this to a professional. I have put together quite a few of these bikes, so we're going to try my hand at it. But I'm, of course, not an e-bike mechanic, and I would definitely suggest following your owner's manual.
Looks like the seat does not come attached. Ooh, and a little dirty, but kind of a cool cross-stitch looking pattern on it. You have a little bit of suspension up front, and that is on a dual crown fork, but we don't have any preload adjustments nor any damping adjustments. We've got a pretty heavy-duty looking frame, and inside of that and attached to the rear swing arm here is our rear suspension, HLT 100, rated for 1,000 pounds. But of course that's specific to the pressure applied to the shock, not to the bike itself. Tires are Chaoyang branded fat tires. They are fairly knobby, not all that tall or aggressive of knobbies. And they are a 20x4 alloy wheels. Rotors are slotted 180 millimeters, which is definitely a good size. Hydraulic brakes are made by Coride. There's our battery. 48 volts, 15 amp hours. We'll get it plugged in and charged up to full before we take it out. Got kickstand that we'll have to attach, derailleur guard, tools, fasteners, metal pedals here with some kind of small cleats on them. Another little tool. And finally, the charger. This is a 3 amp charger, so that should charge that 15 amp hour battery up pretty darn quick. Quick as in a matter of hours, not a matter of minutes. Grips are a somewhat medium, soft, rubbery material. Nice feeling thumb throttle on the left side next to our controller. Fairly common 7-speed Shimano shifter. Coride master cylinders for the brakes. Kind of a nice shorty lever. That seems better. The front rotor is a little bit warped. That must have been from shipping. There's the model number information on the 48 volt 750 watt nominal, 1500 watt peak motor. I haven't seen the headlight yet, so I'm betting that that's what's in here. Yep, there it is. Looks like we've got a 48 tooth front chainring, and that leads us back to our 7-speed Shimano cassette and Shimano tourney derailleur. So before I cover that up, should plug in the tail light. Line that little notch up. This nifty little tool, it seems like it's not quite long enough. Well, that is just about impossible. I'll use my Tusk T-handle for that. Checked a couple of the Phillips on the backside here, and it seemed like maybe they were a little bit loose. However, it seems like this maybe wasn't in the right spot, and now is just kind of free spinning in there. Yeah, that's not working. It's really always a good idea to go through and check all your fasteners before you go on any ride, so you never know what might have loosened up the last time. And of course, the same goes for the first ride as well. All right, looks like the charger's giving us the green light. If I hold the power button down here, we should get the display on. There we go. And it looks like it is kind of strobing in the camera, but that's not that way in real life. It's just the way that the camera picks up how the LEDs run. It'll probably also flicker like this on the test ride through the action camera, but just know when you're looking at it with your eyes, it will look totally normal and not be flashing at all. So we've got 5 pedal assist level settings. We've got an odometer and a trip meter, and that's it. Headlight button. And it looks like we don't actually get the halo for some reason. Definitely a cool looking bike though. Nice bright light, nice even cutoff at the top, and a pretty widespread beam pattern. Taillight also seems like it should be fairly bright, and I would assume that it's also a brake light. Actually looks like it flashes instead of getting brighter. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, doesn't want to jump off on that end. Seems like the derailleur is set properly. There's just a little bit of noise coming from the chain, sort of having to make its way onto the chain guide. I'll show you what I look like on the bike for a size comparison. I am 5'10", I've got a 31-inch inseam, and I weigh about 150 pounds. And I can definitely stand over this bike with both feet flat on the ground. My steel toes are, I guess, a little bit of a thicker sole. As far as the pedal stroke goes, I'm assuming I'm going to want to be on the back portion of the seat because the fronts are usually... they're usually a little bit more uncomfortable. This one's actually not too bad though. I think I could sit on the front. It's just a little bit skinny there. But if I sit towards the back, pedal stroke seems, well, about like you'd expect for a bike this style. As far as the suspension goes, front seems like it'll probably be okay. Might bottom that out fairly easily. Rear seems fairly stiff though. Wow, yeah, incredibly stiff. As far as the overall looks and build quality, I've got to say this is a really pretty darn cool looking e-bike. Some of the tools and fasteners did seem maybe a little bit on the soft side, but the frame seems more than robust enough. Welds don't all look perfect, but I haven't noticed anything that really concerns me too much other than aesthetics. All that's left to do now is gear up and take this thing out for a test ride and see how it does.
So the display is, well, visible, but not super bright in the broad day sunlight. I'll put this all the way down to pedal assist level 0, and it seems like you can't click through them quickly. You have to like wait a second. We will start off in first gear here. So we'll take off and see if this is something that would be possible if you're out and about and run on a battery. And I would say, even as heavy as this bike is, which is somewhere around 70-ish pounds, with that 48-tooth front chainring and the large ring on the back, it really feels, I mean, not bad. Of course, what fun is riding an e-bike on manual power, so we'll put this up to pedal assist 1, and that does almost nothing. 2, noticeable increase, going uphill a little bit here. Bump it all the way to pedal assist 5, and now we are cruising uphill. And 21 is about top speed. It seems like there's probably a way to unlock it, but to be honest, even 21 feels, well, not uncomfortable. I think because of the short wheelbase, it just kind of feels twitchy. The steering is, I would say, responsive and not like scary, but a slightly longer wheelbase I think would make it feel a little bit more stable. And I noticed that when I would jump on the gravel when a car would pass me, and I did stick this mirror on. I can put a link for these down in the description. I would highly recommend definitely safety equipment like a helmet and knee pads, and I've got an armored flannel, but I would also always recommend putting some sort of mirror on. It really is a nice bike to ride and cruise and pedal on though. I'm not feeling annoyed by the seat really.
It's a little bit of an odd pedaling stroke, but I mean, this isn't a mountain bike. It feels ergonomically correct for me. I did roll the bars forward just a tad, and I'm glad that I did that. I feel like I've got plenty of space, but I'm not too stretched out. I mean, it really just is a very nice cruising style bike, and I mean, that is, I think, what it's intended to do. We'll shift this all the way down to 1. See how fast we can get from 0 to top speed. Ready, go. Definitely a quick takeoff. Let off the throttle. Oh, yeah, we're there already. Hopefully the camera caught it. Now it's 22. Oh, 21. Ready, go. Oh, yeah. Picking up the rear with the front there. Very, 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 very nice brakes. Tires, as you can hear, are a little noisy. And I noticed that actually the rear, the motor actually puts out a bit of noise too, even when you're not pedaling. So looks like we've got 7.3 miles on, and we're already down 2 bars of battery. So hopefully we can make it back without having to really test how this thing does without any pedal assistance. And I wanted to check if we knock this all the way down to pedal assist 1. Yeah, that is linked to the throttle. Some are not. This one is. Using the throttle, this thing feels okay. When you go to pedal, you're kind of moving the bike around a little bit more, and I think that just kind of makes it a little bit, I suppose you could put it in the right gear here, just makes it I'll feel a little bit less like it wants to track straight. I think it's the short wheelbase and the kind of tucked in rake. The rake is basically, if you were to draw a line straight up and down, it's the angle that the forks are kind of out in front of that at. A rake that is stuck out a little bit more is going to make steering a little bit slower. Tucked in rake is going to give you the quick handling like this has, but then it's going to make it a little bit nervous, especially off-road. Oh, look at this. Oh my goodness! That rear suspension seems pretty stiff. It's there, but it's certainly not really the same as the front. The front seems kind of very soft, which, I mean, that is kind of where, you know, you're going to take the biggest hit, but it's also kind of nice to have a little bit of cushion in the back. And as far as the pedaling goes at top speed, 21-ish, with the 48 tooth front chainring in 7th gear, it is absolutely perfect to pedal. I don't feel like I'm really having to pedal hard to keep up. It really just feels good. Start off here with a little bit of a hill climb. I'm gonna try to avoid using the pedals and just use the throttle. We'll see how the 1500 watt peak motor does here. 750 watt nominal though, of course. Ready, go. Definitely starts off with a good kick, plenty of torque. Watch the rocks. Oh yeah, no problem. So more than capable, powerful motor. 20 miles an hour is plenty fast in these trails. Woo! Oh yeah, definitely feeling the rear tire and maybe the front even a little bit losing traction, and that's just due to the fact that the suspension is just a little bit too stiff to soak up the bumps. But with all that being said, woo! This is definitely, whoa, a fun bike, and certainly wheelieable, especially with that spring in the front end. Oh yeah. Woo! Whoa, I need to wheel over that. Ah, whoa, and that too. So certainly, like I said, not the ideal off-roader, but if you've got the skills and you don't mind risking losing it because of that quick steering, oh, these kind of short wheelbase 20-inch tire bikes are just a riot out here on trails like this. It's kind of like almost a cross between a moped and 70s dirt bike, and oh man, they are just a blast when they're torquey like this. I just love that. Such a fun bike. Oop. Oh no, what's going on? What did that get attached to? Better tuck that away. Yeah, I do not know why. I guess maybe I do know why. As I say, I don't know why other e-bike manufacturers don't use motors like this. Whoa! But I think it's maybe because, oh boy, they are, well, possibly kind of dangerous if you're not really a confident or experienced rider. And I guess even if you are an experienced bicycle rider, I could definitely see, oh, steep hill, let's gear down, whoa, almost ended up wheeling up the hill. I could definitely see you maybe being caught off guard by it, but boy, it really makes it a fun ride. Oop, what happened? Oh, you're mad about something. Oh, I need service. And hopefully you don't actually leave me out here. Sometimes when you come down with the motor engaged, it will kind of trip something in there to tell the motor that it's working too hard. It's gonna possibly wreck itself if it keeps going, so it will throw a fault code like that. And hopefully, if you turn it off and back on, and slowly turn it up to pedal assist level 5, as the mosquitoes fill your helmet, you should just be able to take off again. And one more thing that I've noticed about this bike is that it does seem like, yeah, boy, it does have a cadence sensor, right? I believe it's a cadence sensor, but it seems like you really, yeah, do not have to give it much of a pedal stroke to get it to go. Yeah, I mean, it kicks in before even half a turn. Yeah. So that's really good, as long as you don't accidentally give it a half a turn when you're absent-mindedly pushing on the pedals. Oh boy. Okay, I think maybe we'll just call that good. Mosquitoes are after me anyways. Let's get out of here.
Well, that was an absolute blast. I think that is the most fun that I've had on a bike off-road in, oh man, a long time. This thing just is so much fun. It's torquey and quick and nimble. Just a very, very fun bike to ride. It's a good bike to cruise on. I really did enjoy the whole entire ride, other than some of the nervous feeling on the gravel. It is, I would say, pretty comfortable. I did start to feel the sort of sides of the seat, and I don't know that it was actually even anything hard. I don't know, I suppose it is. You kind of squish through on the sides a bit, and I could sort of feel that. So that made it a little bit uncomfortable just right towards the end. Turn it on, we can check what we got for mileage here. So that's the trip, which resets automatically. 20 miles on the odometer, and I still have 2 bars of battery left. The rear shock, I think probably could do with a little bit of softening up. I would probably swap this out for something that's rated a little bit less than 1,000 pounds, but it certainly worked how it was. It was a little bit jarring, and I think maybe could have kept a little bit better traction. The front, I think, is definitely usable. It could be a little stiffer. It would be nice if it was adjustable. Brakes worked awesome, and they didn't pick up any noise the entire time that I was riding, which is really nice. Tires and the motor do make a little bit of a whine or a hum, but again, it wasn't something that bothered me. If you're somebody that's a little bit newer to high speed and two-wheel travel, I think maybe I would go with something else just because of the quick steering and the sort of quick, snappy motor. But if those things are things that you think that you can handle at your skill level, boy, this is a really, really, really fun bike to ride for the price. So if you guys have any comments or questions on this, don't be afraid to leave them down in the comments section. Of course, absolutely no pressure, but if what I said about this bike interested you and you'd like to pick one up, I'll have a link for it down in the description. And the link will be an affiliate link, meaning that if you purchase it through that link, I make a small commission, which allows me to keep making videos like this for you guys, and I definitely appreciate that. I've also got affiliate links to all of my other products that I was using during the video. So if you want to check that out and help out the channel, I would definitely appreciate it. Otherwise, guys, until next time, take care, stay safe, stay swanky, get out there and enjoy this beautiful world God created any chance you get. And if you can't do that right now, here's some more videos to check out in the meantime. We'll catch you guys in the next one.